Hello, YouTube family and friends. This is the Old Crone Dances, and this is day 5 of our Healing with Angels. Now, we talked about a little bit last time about the card pain. Follow your pain as if it were a candle in the night, leading you to a place of decision. Clear choices can often heal your pain because they release your conflicts. Pain is a touchstone of spiritual progress. Okay, there's a lot you can get from this because there's a lot of different kinds of pain. There's physical pain with our body. There's mental pain. When things happen that's tragic in our lives and we have a very hard time, some more or less than others, of dealing with it. Spiritual pain where you can just be, it's like you're hurting, you don't know which way to turn, and what your purpose is, what you're here for. So that covers a pretty good span. Of course, the physical pain is probably something we deal with more often, I would imagine, for some than the other ones. Even if it's down to where you get a cut, it hurts. So, and depending on what the physical thing is that is afflicting you, now we can, for sure, if it's something we can deal with ourselves, like a little paper cut or a cut that we don't need stitches, we always have things like that, bumps and bruises. But then we go to the doctors for the other things that we can't deal with, so that the doctor can help heal or try to heal some of that. And for the chronic pain that's not ever going to go away physically, it's something we need to call on the angels and God to help us with, to tolerate, to tolerate it better. And to be able to listen, so that it's not as much. Mental pain can be sometimes very hard to deal with and maybe not as easy to fix sometimes. Whether it's heartbreak or the loss of a loved one or someone's being abusive to you. There's all kinds, And those sometimes are the ones that sometimes there's just some very tortured minds out there that are hurting. It's very hard, to heal that pain. Those are the ones to where you have to kind of look at it and make a decision, which is going to be a decision you have to make, of a clear choice to heal it and let it go, so that it doesn't interfere or run your life. Some people have a lot of trouble with grief from the loss of a loved one or that, and it lasts longer than normal. And there's no sense in making what short time we have on earth worse than it has to be, So That's a choice we have to make, whether we want to dwell in that or we've recognized it and we've done what we can and there's nothing else we can do. Then we have to put it behind us. And as far as loved ones, we will always remember them. You know, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the grief part, then the really painful part, has to be healed and put aside. And then there's spiritual pain to where you don't know where you're comfortable and what religion or what church or what denomination. And that's another choice that you have to find. And you have to let your spirit help you with that one and call on the angels for assistance. And to get that one, and that has to be your decision to make that choice. To find out, you know, what your true spiritual self is, whether it's you're a Catholic or whether you're a Lutheran or a Pentecostal or an atheist or say a Wiccan or a just one that has, you're not atheist but you just, there's Buddhism, I think. But I mean, there's all kinds of, you know, there's like the Quran. There's all kinds of different religions. And there are some people that just, they're not atheists, they just choose not to choose. So, and that's, you know, some people have made that decision and they're happy with that. So basically, you just have to either get assistance, like from a doctor, if you know, if you can. If it's really bad, then the doctor, and ask for the angels. Pray to God, your God. If it's mental, you know, you have to make a decision of what road you're going to go down with that. And how far down that road you're willing to go. And then the spiritual is another path, you know, that you have to concentrate on. So, at any rate, that's that card. We're going to move on from that one. And for the people that do have a disorder that cannot feel pain, that really is something, because then they are solely dependent on care from others to say if they're bedridden and they can't feel pain, maybe they've had their quadriplegic or something. That's where the nursing staff and that has to come in and make sure like their heels are not breaking down or they're not getting bed sores on their backside, and you know, so there's another part of that too. But their mind is still good, but their body's not. So they, you know, and yeah, that's a really a majorly tough one there, you know. And you know, they'd be getting the medical care that they need, and maybe not their choice of spiritual, depending on what their religion is, and maybe. And then as far as, you know, the mental, that would be where they'd really need help with the angels and stuff like that, you know, of their situation. So that's a tough one there. All right, we're going to move on. This is day 5. We're going to move on and read day 6. Day 6. Today, find ways to create balance in your life. Cast all negativity in a positive light and let go of any fears that block the flow of vital energy within your body, mind, and spirit. And I'm also going to add in your home on that one. And then the back of the card is to heal illness, begin by restoring balance. To heal illness, begin by restoring balance. The interconnectedness of all life, of humans and nature, of the earth and the universe, of physical, mental, and spiritual faculties is a given in most Eastern religions as well as Native American beliefs. In the printed religions of Africa and Australia, the four statements above are drawn from Native American theists and beliefs, but also reflect African and Aboriginal teachings. Living in harmony with nature opens the way to environmental responsibility and to respecting our natural human cycles, which are tied not only to the seasons but also to our internal clock based on the diurnal rhythms of night and day, rising with the sun, going to sleep a few hours after sunset, and eating foods that are locally grown and approximate to the season are simple ways of attuning to cycles of nature. All the spiritual traditions also find a strong link between physical health and spiritual well-being. The more spiritually centered and balanced you are, the less chance you have to accumulate the stresses that are destructive of the body. Negative mental states such as anger, jealousy, and dishonesty, which all spiritual traditions teach us to avoid, also cause severe stress and ultimately illness. By healing the mind of its distinctive thoughts and impulses, we stand a much better chance of keeping the body whole and healthy. Okay, so that's our card for day 6. So that gives us a little bit of time to think about that. And we'll see you guys later.